Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm 31 years old, and up until recently, I thought I had a pretty normal life. I work in digital marketing, live in a cozy suburban neighborhood, and I married the love of my life, Noah, a year ago. Things were going great, or so I thought. A few months ago, I found out I was pregnant. Noah and I were over the moon, nervous, excited, all the usual emotions. We decided to keep it a secret until we were out of the first trimester. But even with our joy, there was a shadow hanging over me. My mother-in-law, Lisa. From the day Noah introduced me to her, Lisa made it clear she didn't think I was wife material. She's the kind of woman who believes her son deserves a flawless, obedient, cookie-cutter housewife. And I'm independent, speak my mind, and don't need anyone's approval. I suppose that made me a threat. Still, I tried to keep the peace. Every Sunday dinner at her house, I brought a bottle of wine, even when I wasn't drinking it myself. I complimented her cooking, helped clean up, but it never seemed to be enough. The moment we told her about the pregnancy, I knew things were going to get worse. "You're pregnant," Lisa repeated, her eyes narrowing like she was trying to detect a lie. "Are you sure?" Noah chuckled awkwardly, trying to keep the mood light. "Of course she is, Mom. We've seen the doctor." Lisa smiled then, but it wasn't warm. It was the kind of smile you give when you know something no one else does. I should have known right then. The next few weeks were tense. Lisa kept making snide remarks. "You don't look pregnant," or "You're not even showing yet. Are you sure it's not just bloating?" I tried to laugh it off. I wanted to believe she was just being difficult, not malicious. But then she started telling other people, relatives, friends, that she wasn't convinced I was actually pregnant. That maybe I was trying to trap Noah or get attention. At one family barbecue, she said loudly, "Jessica's not pregnant. She's just looking for sympathy." Everyone laughed uncomfortably. I went home that night and cried in the shower. Noah confronted her, but she always found a way to turn it back on me. "I'm just concerned for her health," she'd say with fake innocence. I had no idea just how far Lisa would go to prove her sick theory, and I definitely wasn't ready for what happened next. After weeks of tolerating Lisa's passive-aggressive comments, I decided enough was enough. I wasn't going to let her poison one of the happiest moments of my life. I told Noah I needed some distance from his mother. To my relief, he agreed. "She's out of line," he said, wrapping his arm around me. "We need boundaries." For a while, things calmed down. We stayed away from Sunday dinners. Noah handled all communication with her. I focused on my work, my health, and my growing baby. My OB/GYN said everything was progressing perfectly. The baby was strong, healthy. Every heartbeat I heard during my checkups reminded me that I wasn't crazy. I was carrying our child no matter what Lisa believed. Then came the family pool party. It was Noah's cousin's birthday, and the whole extended family would be there. I was hesitant to go, but Noah promised Lisa would behave. "She knows better than to cause a scene in front of everyone," he said. I wanted to believe him. I really did. The party started off fine. The weather was perfect, the food smelled amazing, and the backyard buzzed with laughter and music. I wore a flowy maternity dress and sandals, careful to stay in the shade and keep hydrated. A few people even congratulated me on the pregnancy, and for once, I felt seen. But then Lisa showed up. She strutted in like she owned the place, decked out in oversized sunglasses, heels, to a pool party, seriously? And a forced smile. When she saw me, her expression tightened. "Jessica," she said coolly, still pretending, I see. I didn't respond. I just walked away. Later, while chatting with one of Noah's cousins near the edge of the pool, Lisa approached us holding a tray of drinks. "Margarita?" she offered with a smirk. "No thanks," I said, keeping my voice calm. "You know I'm not drinking." "Oh, right," she said, loud enough for the people around us to hear. "Because of the baby." I clenched my jaw but said nothing. Then she did something I'll never forget. She leaned in and said, "Let's see if this fake baby can swim." And before I could even react, she shoved me, hard. I fell backward into the pool, fully clothed, shocked, gasping, arms flailing. The water was cold. My heart raced. I struggled to get upright, the fabric of my dress tangling around my legs. Someone screamed. Noah's cousin jumped in after me, helping me to the surface. I was coughing, shaking, terrified. Noah came running over, shouting, "What the hell just happened?" "She pushed her," someone yelled. "Are you insane?" he roared at his mother. Lisa stood by the edge of the pool, arms crossed, unfazed. "I told you she's not pregnant. She just slipped." I was helped out of the water, my entire body trembling. My belly ached with tension and panic. My mind went straight to the baby. "We have to go," I gasped to Noah. "I need to get checked, now." He didn't hesitate. He wrapped a towel around me, helped me into the car, and we drove straight to the ER. At the hospital, I lay on the bed, my soaked clothes replaced with a hospital gown, monitors beeping softly beside me. The nurse applied gel to my stomach and moved the Doppler wand around. I held my breath, and then I heard it. That strong, steady thump, thump, thump of our baby's heartbeat. I exhaled, tears streaming down my face. "He's okay," I whispered. "Our baby's okay." Noah kissed my forehead, holding my hand tightly. "She's never coming near you again," he said. "I swear it." The doctor confirmed that while I was shaken and had a few bruises, the baby was unharmed. Physically, I was okay. Emotionally, I wasn't sure. As we sat in the hospital room processing what had just happened, Noah's phone buzzed. It was a text from Lisa. "Stop being dramatic. I barely touched her." That was the last straw. Noah blocked her number. We filed a police report for assault. The hospital provided documentation of my injuries, and several family members had already called, saying they witnessed what happened and would testify if needed. The fallout was immediate. Lisa tried to spin the story, claiming I exaggerated, but there were too many witnesses, too much proof. She was exposed. Family members began distancing themselves from her. Even her own sister called me to apologize for Lisa's behavior, saying she's always been jealous of other women, but this crossed a line. That night, back at home, Noah and I lay in bed, his hand resting protectively on my stomach. "From now on," he said softly, "it's just us and our baby. Anyone who threatens that is out of our lives." And I believed him, because sometimes you have to go through the unthinkable to realize what and who truly matters. The days following the pool incident were a whirlwind of emotion. Shock, anger, relief that the baby was okay, and confusion about what came next. Noah kept his promise. He cut all contact with his mother. No calls, no texts, no visits. At first, Lisa tried to act like nothing had happened. She sent an email the next day titled, "Let's Move Past This," where she blamed hormones for my overreaction and called the whole event an unfortunate misunderstanding. Unfortunate? Misunderstanding? She'd literally pushed a pregnant woman into a pool. We didn't respond. Instead, I focused on recovery. Physically, the bruises healed quickly. Emotionally, it was harder. I found myself jumping at loud sounds, waking in the middle of the night with flashes of panic. The idea that someone so close, my child's grandmother, had tried to humiliate and endanger me wasn't easy to process. What helped, though, was Noah's unwavering support. He was by my side through it all. Doctor appointments, police reports, sleepless nights. He even attended a few therapy sessions with me, where we both talked about the trauma of what had happened. And then came the unexpected twist. One evening, as Noah was taking out the trash, he found an envelope taped to our door. Inside was a letter, handwritten on thick ivory paper. It wasn't from Lisa. It was from Noah's father. I had barely heard from him throughout our entire relationship. He'd always seemed like a background figure, quiet and compliant, overshadowed by Lisa's overpowering presence. But this letter, it was different. "Dear Jessica, I know I haven't said much before, but I saw what happened. And I'm sorry. Lisa's behavior was inexcusable, and I should have spoken up years ago. She's always had a way of controlling the narrative, twisting the truth to serve herself. And I allowed it. I stood by because it was easier than confronting her. That was wrong. What she did to you, especially with a child on the way, is something I can't remain silent about anymore. I want you to know I'm on your side. I'll be testifying if it goes to court, and I've moved out. Congratulations on your baby. I hope someday I can be the kind of grandfather your child deserves. Harold. I read it twice, then a third time. Harold. Quiet, hesitant Harold. He'd moved out? Left Lisa? When Noah came back inside, I handed him the letter. His eyes widened as he read. I can't believe this, he said. He never stood up to her, not once. But now he had. A few days later, Harold came by. He brought a bag of groceries and a small box of baby items, soft booties, a hand-knitted hat, and a children's book titled, You Are So Loved. He didn't try to explain away Lisa's actions. He didn't offer excuses. He simply said, I'm sorry for everything, and I want to be better. We let him in. And slowly, tentatively, Harold became part of our life. Meanwhile, Lisa was spiraling. With Harold gone, she had no one to back up her version of events. Extended family members who had heard rumors began to call, asking what really happened. A few apologized for not believing me at first. Some said they had always suspected something wasn't right with her. Then the police investigation gained momentum. One of the party guests had captured the exact moment Lisa pushed me into the pool on video. She sent it to us and the officer handling the case. The footage was crystal clear. Lisa shoving me, my arms flailing, me hitting the water belly first. The district attorney decided to press charges, assault of a pregnant woman. We didn't celebrate, but I felt a weight lift off my chest. There would be consequences. She couldn't rewrite reality this time. When Lisa received the court summons, she showed up at our doorstep again, this time in tears. Jessica, please, she sobbed. We're family. You can't let them do this to me. I'm your child's grandmother. I didn't say a word. Noah stepped between us. You're not welcome here, he said, voice calm but firm. Leave now, or I'll call the police. She stormed off, screaming that we were ungrateful, that she had only been trying to protect the family from scandal. But this wasn't about scandal. This was about safety, about respect, about drawing a line. That night, as Noah and I sat on the couch, his hand on my belly, the soft hum of the baby monitor in the background, I realized something powerful. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones who claim to love us. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from that kind of love. The court date loomed ahead like a storm on the horizon. I tried to go about my daily life, work from home, prenatal yoga, baby shower planning, but everything felt tinged with unease. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. Was it another message from Lisa? Another veiled threat or desperate plea? Thankfully, Harold kept his distance from her. He stayed in a small rental across town and began seeing a therapist, something he admitted he'd needed for decades. Every visit, he brought fresh fruit or a hand-carved wooden rattle he'd made in a woodworking class, or a new book for the baby. He never overstepped, never made excuses for Lisa. He simply tried to show up in quiet, consistent ways. Meanwhile, Lisa was anything but quiet. She started spreading lies. She told the rest of Noah's extended family that I had staged the fall into the pool for attention, that I wasn't really pregnant, that I was using emotional manipulation to turn Noah against her. The most outrageous rumor, that Harold had been seduced by me, that I had turned him against his wife using mind games. It was laughable if it weren't so deeply disturbing. One day, I received a call from a blocked number. Against my better judgment, I answered. I hope you're happy, Lisa hissed before I could even say hello. You've torn my family apart. Harold is brainwashed. My friends won't even speak to me anymore. And for what? A few scratches and a little swim? I froze. A little swim? I repeated slowly. You pushed a pregnant woman into a pool. I could have lost my baby. There was silence. Then, you were never pregnant, she snapped. You just got lucky with your timing. I hung up. That evening, I printed out the call log and gave it to our attorney. He was compiling a full harassment report, including screenshots of texts, voice messages, and the damning video footage. He said our case was stronger than ever. But even so, the idea of walking into that courtroom, of having to relive it all in front of strangers, filled me with dread. Noah noticed. He'd taken to rubbing my back each night while we lay in bed, his hand instinctively resting on my growing belly. "I hate this," I whispered one night. "I hate that she still lives in my head, that she still scares me." Noah shifted to face me. "She doesn't win," he said. "Not if we keep moving forward, not if we protect our peace. That's what matters now." And he was right. So I leaned into joy. I let myself enjoy the little kicks from our baby. I let myself register for baby clothes with tiny fox ears and cloud prints. I let myself decorate the nursery with Harold's handmade mobile of stars and moons. The baby shower came and went, a cozy gathering of my closest friends, my sister, and even a few neighbors who'd rallied behind me after the incident made local news. We ate cupcakes, guessed baby names, laughed until we cried. Lisa wasn't even mentioned. But then came the pretrial hearing. I walked into the courtroom with Noah holding my hand tightly. I wore a soft blue maternity dress and flats. Nothing fancy, just something that made me feel like myself. Lisa was already there. She wore a pristine white blazer, pearl earrings, and a smug expression that only faltered when Harold walked in and took a seat. On our side, I saw her lips part in disbelief. Her hands gripped her handbag so tightly, I thought the leather might split. The judge called order and the session began. Our attorney presented the video first. The room went still as the footage played, the party atmosphere, the music, the laughter. Then Lisa's voice, her sneer, her hands pushing, my body falling, the splash. There was a collective intake of breath. Then silence. Even Lisa looked rattled. She tried to explain it was an accident, that she only meant to startle me, not push. But then our lawyer played the voicemail where she called it a little swim. The judge's face was unreadable, but I could feel the energy shift in the room. Harold was called to testify. He spoke calmly, evenly. He said he saw Lisa's growing resentment toward me during the pregnancy. He spoke about the conversations they'd had in private, where she expressed doubts, made cruel comments, even fantasized about exposing me. "I didn't take it seriously at the time," he said, his voice shaking slightly, "but I should have." Lisa was red with fury by the time the hearing ended. Outside the courtroom, she lunged toward us, but a bailiff stopped her. "I'm not done," she shouted. "You'll regret this, all of you." But for the first time in months, I didn't feel afraid. I felt calm, because now everything was in motion, and there was no going back. The pretrial hearing had cracked something open, something bigger than just our personal nightmare. The moment the video circulated through local media, it ignited public outrage. Pregnant woman pushed into pool. By mother-in-law over fake pregnancy accusations. The headlines screamed. Comments flooded in from all sides, some sympathetic, many horrified, and a few, of course, doubting me. But the truth was out now, and Lisa's mask had slipped too far to be repaired. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. Noah and I decided to step away from social media just for a while. We needed space, time, peace. But Lisa didn't slow down. 2 days after the hearing, she showed up at my OB/GYN's office. Yes, she showed up. I was there for a routine checkup. My belly was now clearly visible. My doctor had just finished measuring the baby's heart rate, steady, strong, when her assistant rushed in, flustered. "There's a woman outside demanding your records. She says she's your mother." I blinked. What? Then it hit me. Lisa. I stepped into the hallway just in time to see her arguing with the receptionist. "You don't understand," Lisa said, her tone sharp. "She's faking it. I have proof. She's manipulating my son." The receptionist, clearly fed up, responded, "Ma'am, if you don't leave now, we'll call security." I stepped forward. "She's not my mother. She's my mother-in-law, and she's trespassing." Lisa turned to me, her face twisted in rage. "You think this is over? You think I'll let you destroy my family? My son?" Behind me, the doctor appeared, his expression firm. "I suggest you leave, ma'am. You're endangering my patient." Security arrived and escorted her out. I watched, hand on my stomach, pulse racing, but my mind was sharp. Every incident, every word, it was all going in the report. Later that day, our lawyer filed an emergency restraining order. Within 48 hours, a judge granted it. Lisa was officially barred from contacting me, Noah, or even showing up within 200 feet of our home, workplace, or medical facilities. Harold once again apologized profusely. "I should have done this years ago," he said, shaking his head. "I should have seen what she was becoming." I put my hand on his. "You're here now. That matters." With the court trial coming up in 2 weeks, we finally began to shift focus. To the baby. The nursery was nearly finished. Noah painted the walls a soft sage green. We hung up a mobile of stars and clouds. We assembled the crib together, laughing every time we had to redo a screw. We even started taking birthing classes together, holding hands through contractions practice, breathing in sync. Noah always whispered, "We've got this," and we did, until the next bomb dropped. Lisa was suing us. Yes, somehow unbelievably she was suing us for defamation and emotional distress. Her lawyer claimed the video was taken without her consent, that we had deliberately spread it online to destroy her reputation and social standing. Our attorney scoffed. "This is a PR stunt. She's trying to flip the narrative before the trial." Still, it meant more paperwork, more preparation, more courtroom dates, and all while I was 32 weeks pregnant. One night, overwhelmed and exhausted, I broke down. "I'm so tired of fighting," I sobbed into Noah's shoulder. "I just want to have this baby. I just want her gone." Noah held me tightly. "We're almost there," he whispered. "She's losing power. That's why she's grasping at anything." And he was right, because karma, real karma, was finally catching up. Harold had quietly contacted a journalist, not for revenge, but to shed light on domestic abuse cases involving in-laws. The journalist took an interest, especially after seeing the footage and hearing from hospital staff. An exposé was published the following Sunday. "Behind Closed Doors: How Toxic In-Laws Are Silently Endangering Women's Lives." It featured my story, anonymized at first, but powerful. It highlighted Lisa's behavior, the legal system's delay in protecting vulnerable women, and the mental health effects of long-term harassment. The article went viral, and suddenly Lisa's world collapsed. The charity board she chaired? Gone. Sponsors pulled out. Her social club revoked her membership. Her employer placed her on indefinite leave pending investigation. She tried to go on TV to defend herself, only to be laughed off the set when the host played her own words back to her from the voicemail recordings we had submitted in court. Lisa was radioactive, untouchable. Even her closest friends, other wealthy socialites who once sneered at me, turned their backs. Some even messaged me, apologizing, offering support. Noah and I sat on the couch that night, sharing a bowl of popcorn, watching Lisa stumble through a press conference, trying to salvage her image. "She looks like a politician," Noah chuckled, dodging questions, spinning nonsense. "She looks like someone who finally lost control," I whispered. And for the first time since that awful day at the pool, I felt safe. The court date arrived on a gray Wednesday morning. I was 36 weeks pregnant. Huge, swollen, exhausted, but determined. Noah walked beside me into the courthouse, his hand never leaving mine. Our attorney, Miss Carter, met us on the steps with a confident nod. "Let's finish this." The courtroom was already buzzing. Reporters stood outside, flashing cameras through the glass doors. The video, the article, and Lisa's downfall had turned this into a public interest case. Lisa entered with her attorney trailing behind. She looked different, tired, pale, her once polished appearance dulled, but her eyes still carried the same fire of arrogance, like she believed this would all somehow go away. But it wouldn't. Not today. The judge called everyone to order. Miss Carter started with the facts: the video, the restraining order, the medical records, the witnesses, including 2 pool staff who had overheard Lisa taunting me before the shove. Then she introduced the voicemail recordings, the ones where Lisa called me a scammer, a manipulative parasite, and worse, the ones where she bragged to friends about testing me. Lisa's attorney objected, claimed the voicemails were private. The judge allowed them anyway. The courtroom listened in silence as Lisa's cruel words echoed off the walls. Then came the part I dreaded most, my testimony. I stepped forward slowly. My feet ached, my back screamed, but I stood tall. "I am not here to destroy anyone," I began, my voice steady, "but I need to protect myself and my baby." I spoke about the day at the pool, the trauma, the fear, the way I was left gasping for air, soaked and sobbing, wondering if I had lost my child. "I live in fear," I continued, "fear that my mother-in-law will show up again, that she'll hurt me, that she'll twist my husband's mind or poison the environment we're bringing this child into." Tears filled my eyes, but I didn't cry. I wouldn't give her that. "I'm here today to ask this court to give me back peace, safety, and justice." When I returned to my seat, the courtroom was silent. Lisa's defense was as expected. Claims of concern, accusations that I overreacted, denial of intent. She tried to portray herself as a worried mother, someone pushed too far. But the video, the voicemails, the hospital reports, and witnesses told the truth. When it was Noah's turn to speak, his voice cracked, but he spoke with clarity. "My mother put my wife's life at risk, and my child's. I spent years defending her, making excuses, but that ends today. I stand with my wife." Lisa gasped, like she hadn't expected him to say it out loud in public, as if she thought he'd crumble. He didn't. And then came the verdict. The judge's voice was firm. "Mrs. Lisa Whitmore, you are hereby found guilty of assault, harassment, and emotional distress with intent to cause harm. You are sentenced to 1 year of house arrest, mandatory anger management, and psychological counseling. You will also pay restitution for medical expenses and emotional damages, totaling $250,000. Lisa's jaw dropped. My knees went weak, not from fear this time, but relief. It was over. That night, Noah and I sat outside on the porch, stars glowing softly above us. He played gentle music from his phone while I rested my feet on his lap. "I still can't believe it," I whispered. "She's finally out of our lives," he said. "It's over." I placed his hand on my belly and our daughter kicked, a strong, certain reminder of the life we were about to begin. 2 weeks later, she arrived, Lily Hope Whitmore, 7 pounds, 10 ounces of perfection. Holding her in my arms, I knew we'd made it through the worst. Her tiny fingers wrapped around mine like she already knew I'd fought for her, that I'd never stop. Harold visited often. He brought books, baby clothes, and flowers. He cried the first time he held Lily. "You're a lucky girl," he whispered to her. "You've got the strongest mama in the world." As for Lisa, she was placed under house arrest in her penthouse apartment. The charity she once ran dissolved. The country club revoked her membership. And her name? It was now a whisper, spoken with pity, not power. Months passed. Lily grew. Noah and I thrived in a life that no longer carried fear. We started a small nonprofit together, helping expectant mothers in toxic family situations get legal aid and emotional support. And one afternoon, I sat in that very same coffee shop where I had once cried to Olivia, feeling hopeless. This time, Lily sat on my lap, gurgling happily. A stranger passed and smiled. "Beautiful baby," she said. I smiled back. "Thank you, she's my miracle." Because that's exactly what she was. Not just a baby, but proof that no amount of hate, control, or cruelty could drown us. We rose, we healed, we chose peace. And in the end, karma didn't just find Lisa, it set us free.